It was the happiest day of my life when I got my admissions letter from Georgetown.
Studying at Georgetown really opened my eyes to a very different cultural perspective.
Georgetown instills the absolute importance of making public service an important part of your professional life.
A lot of us thought we could change the world. Georgetown certainly had an impact in allowing some of us to do so.
Without question, Georgetown Law Center changed my life. It let me do the things that I wanted to do and do them in a way that I'm proud of.
I grew up in Hong Kong. I came to the United States for university. I really got interested in the possibility of becoming a lawyer.
So I was fascinated by the idea that you could fight for something with your mind and with your words.
I'm one of the few people that had an idea before I went to law school what I wanted to do. And I did want to be a communications lawyer. And it just seemed to me that Washington, D.C. was the place to be.
I didn't think my grades were up to Georgetown's standards, and I drove down from Buffalo, and I camped outside the Dean of Admissions office, and I said something along the lines of, well, unless he's going to go out that window in the back, he has to come by me sooner or later. I'm going to meet him. It was a trip worth making.
To go to law school was just not something I'd ever thought about. But then when I worked for the Justice Department, all the lawyers thought I was almost a lawyer then. They convinced me that I should be on the other side of the desk. My first mentor, she just insisted that I had to come to Georgetown, and I did.
When I studied at Georgetown was already a very, very international kind of program. It really prepared me well for my subsequent career, really focused on helping American companies making investment in China. My involvement now as a professor at Shanghai Law School is my very small way to contribute to that important transition of China becoming a rule of law society.
One of the formative experiences was participating in the Bodri Cup. The moot court experience here really told me that I loved being in court. One piece of advice that was given by Professor McCarthy, he said, look, our job is to turn you into good lawyers. And because of that, you're going to win cases. And when you win a case, you need to step back and ask yourself, did I advance the state of the law? That was really important to me because the very first case I had, I won, but I didn't advance the state of the law. After that, I really changed the focus of my practice. I really devoted myself to representing new entrants and the underdogs.
Without question, I was enormously influenced by Professor Richard Gordon. He introduced me to Paul Dean, to Dean Dean. They really opened the door for me to enter the real world, and I felt well prepared for the real world. I ceased practicing law in 1991, and I started a business, buying and repositioning hotels. Really, really wonderful. Some of the ethics that were instilled in me by people like Professor Gordon and Dean Dean, that's ingrained in a lot of ways that I approach things, not only in business, but in life.
I was the editor-in-chief of the Law Journal at Georgetown, and it was probably the most defining experience for me at Georgetown. Well, I learned how to be a leader and a manager. I had the great opportunity to be President Obama's counsel. The training that I had at the Law Journal was, in some ways, great early preparation. I had the chance to work on defending the Affordable Care Act before the Supreme Court, and then helping the president decide to no longer defend the Defense of Marriage Act.
Georgetown encouraged students to pursue an education that would serve other people no matter what you did. Today I work for the mayor of the District of Columbia. I love seeing how government serves people and being a part of that. This mayor had committed to moving the dial on statehood, and that happens to be in my portfolio. We believe that we can convince the Congress to approve the District of Columbia as the 51st state.
I stay in touch with Georgetown is because I really believe that the international perspective that Georgetown brings is even more important in today's world.
Well, it helps to be in Washington, D.C. I come down to the campus a lot.
To serve on the strategic committee to study the future of law schools.
From teaching an individual class to speaking to admitted students.
I was extremely honored to be asked to go on the Board of Visitors. It was an excellent experience and an opportunity to say thank you.
One of my favorite events here is the Scholarship Luncheon. You get to come down and meet the students that you're helping. You can't meet them and not say to yourself, boy, they could really change the world. Wouldn't that be great?
I just love being connected to Georgetown. Georgetown, I'm here to stay.
I'm very, very honored and very humbled to be the recipient of the Paul R. Dean Award.
Dean, as we call him. He was just such a great teacher.
And particularly given the fact that I really had a meaningful personal relationship with him, and he had an impact on my life.
I knew Father Drinan. It's just particularly meaningful to me to get an award that's named after him.
I've been thankful for many years about everything that Georgetown has given to me. So I want to give back.